Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about water storage during a disaster or an emergency. So the first thing I want to talk about is a FEMA recommendation. If you go to ready.gov, the Federal Emergency Management Agency is going to tell you 1 gallon of water per person per day. So if it's just one person, to survive, you should be drinking roughly a gallon of water per day. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I'm not knocking FEMA for saying that. But I do want to discuss the reality of the situation. Let's say you're at home, the power goes out, and you no longer have water, running water. Are you going to be utilizing 1 gallon of water per day? I don't think so. You're going to want to wash your hands. You're going to want to cook stuff. You're going to want to probably flush the toilet. Some other things to think about, why would you be using water, right? So it's going to be more than just drinking. So let's get to that really. What I want to talk about is what the common person might think is a water storage solution versus what you probably want to start aiming toward. This is 35 water bottles that somebody might pick up from the grocery store. Say they know that a thunderstorm is coming or a winter storm, or they heard something really bad in the news and they're like, yeah, we need to be more prepared. Let's go ahead and get some more water. This 35 pack of water bottles, half-liter water bottles, how long is that really going to last you? Well, according to FEMA, that's going to last one person 4.6 days, because of 1 gallon per day, it's 4.6 days. I don't think so. I think it's more like 3 gallons. So I'm going to say this might last a day and a half for one person, because they're going to be, again, washing their hands, cooking with water, whether they're boiling pasta or adding water to a Mountain House meal. You're going to be using water to cook, more than likely. So, again, 35 water bottles here. 4.6 for FEMA standards, 1.5 on my standards. And a lot of people will agree with this. Anybody that's into the survival preparedness area, they're going to say it's definitely more than 1 gallon of water per person per day, just because of the things that I mentioned. Sam's Club will sell 6 1-gallon jugs of water bottles, just like here, like a milk jug size. And they're not too expensive. I'd say you probably get one box of 6 waters for $8 to $10. I'm not completely sure, don't quote me on that. But again, you can do that, and most people will buy one of those because it's like, 40 some pounds. So according to FEMA, that's going to last you 6 days. I'm going to say it's going to last you 2 days. So 2 days of cooking, washing, cleaning, eating, drinking, I know another thing I want to talk about here is jerry cans, and I'm going to go ahead and bring those out real fast. These are 6-gallon jerry cans for water. I bought these from Walmart for like 17 bucks a piece. These are BPA free. They have a little nozzle inside, and it holds 6 gallons of water. This is no different than what we would use in the military, other than maybe just the spout and stuff. Maybe some material is different, but same concept. If you have 4 6-gallon jerry cans, FEMA says that it lasts you 24 days. I'm going to say it lasts you 8 days for one person. So that's 1 week's worth of water if you have 4 of these jerry cans. I'm going to bring this down real quick so you guys can see. But let's say that you went out and purchased 55-gallon drum strictly for water. FEMA says it's 55 days. I say 18.3. That's 55 divided by 3. So 18 days. You have 3 weeks worth of water, roughly. That's pretty good. That's for one person though. And again, cooking, cleaning, eating, drinking. So what are the downsides to all this? Or the I guess positives and negatives. Well, water bottles are super portable. You can throw them in backpacks. You can hand them out to people, and drink them, and it's no big deal. However, it takes a lot of water bottles to wash a a thing of dishes that you've eaten off of for the last couple of days. And you're going to be looking like a fool when you're trying to fill up your back of your toilet with however many water bottles. So I think this is fine for just drinking. Like if you had a couple of those cases of water strictly for drinking, you'd be all right. But you might want to supplement that with 1 gallon jugs. If that's what you're doing, if you're just going to the store and you're trying to pick out some stuff because you know a potential disaster is coming, yeah, if you supplement these two, you might be all right. Again, you got some portability. You're going to be able to wash a thing of dishes with 1 gallon of water. You're certainly going to be able to wash your hands a lot easier than if you had a bottle of water. It can be done. But if you're going camping or something like that, you can always just grab 1 gallon waters and throw them in a cooler. So that's not a big deal. But I'll say, if you're only getting 6 and you have one case of water bottle, well, according to the 3 gallon standard, you've got 3 days worth of water. So if that's all you got, then you're doing all right. But I would say if you have 3 people in your family, well, now you're back down to one gallon, or rather 1 day's worth of water. If you have 3.5 of my standard worth of water, you only have now 1 day's worth of water. I have 4 of these 6 gallon jerry cans that are just full of water. So yes, 24 gallons of water, but 8 days worth of water really for one person. So if you have 4 people in your family, 4 and 8, you got 2 days worth of water. Realistically, 2 days worth of water with 4 6-gallon jerry cans. So maybe buying a few of these, having a few of these, and having some of these. That's probably a good 3 to 4 day standard that you might want to just keep in mind here. And I want to talk about the 55-gallon drum, because 55-gallon drums aren't cheap, and that's a pretty big move, especially if you're talking about like preparedness and water storage. That's a big move, and I implore you to do that. However, it is a little more costly, and you're not going to be lugging around a 55-gallon drum of water, especially not up and down stairs. You're not going to be putting it on the back of your truck and going somewhere. It's not going to be as easy as scooping water out. You're going to have some type of pump. So you're not going to be really just moving that water around without some improvisation. So again, that's something you want to think about. Now, if you had one of all of these, I think you would be perfectly fine for almost a month's worth of water. So I would say that moving up, or I'd rather moving down the scale of preparedness, you start from here, you get a couple of these. I say you get a couple of these and eventually work your way into getting one of those. And you're gonna have roughly 30 days worth of water. You're gonna have enough to cook with, enough to clean with. You're not gonna be worried about whether you have enough water on hand to get yourself through a small or medium scale disaster. And nowadays it's probably a good thing to start thinking about, because we're not really sure what's going to be coming in the near future. I want to talk about some quick tips real fast. I know we talked about like the storage containers you could buy and such, but if you know that bad weather is coming or a bad situation is brewing, I would suggest filling your bathtub up with water. That way you at least have water simply just to flush the toilet with, or maybe just to wash your hands, or pour some water down the drain. I don't know, but it's better than nothing, and it's something you can do on the fly. You have a large capacity water storage container at your disposal, that if you have the time and you have the wherewithal to do so, you can absolutely fill that water container up, your bathtub, and utilize that water. Another thing you might want to think about is filtration. Water from like these jugs, or water from a 55-gallon drum might taste a little chemically, because I mean it's been sitting in plastic for however many days. I suggest finding like a carbon filter, maybe like a Brita filter, for instance. You can just pour that into the water filter. It's going to filter itself out, and you're going to have better tasting water than if you had without filtering it at all. Not that it's not going to be clean, but I would just err on the side of caution. Another thing you can do if you are concerned about safety, as far as like drinking water goes, you fill these gallons up, 6 gallons up, or the 55 gallons up a while ago. You can always use the correct amount of bleach or just a water purification tablet, just to purify your water, and then I would still filter it. So there's some things just to think about as far as long-term water storage.